Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Story number 1, Reforged, written by Mercury the Dealer. Everyone fears humans. Some fear them for their mighty ships, some for their incomprehensible technology. Many are terrified by the idea of mixing flesh and metal like they do. Those are all good reasons to fear them, but they pale in comparison to the true nightmare fuel. How did they get here? Many forget it, but humans started like all other species do. They got fire, they forged metal, they waged war, and eventually went to space. Then the Republic invaded Earth. It wasn't the worst thing that could happen, not by a long shot. The Republic wasn't hyper-militarist or xenophobic. They were just a tad expansionist and thought the humans would be great citizens. The humans disagreed. In the beginning, the invasion was completely one-sided. The Republic had better technology and the benefit of surprise. They were putting the humans on fire. Winning would require humanity to have an uncountable number of bodies and an infinite will to fight. They had both. The things humans did to defend their planet are unspeakable. Parents died in fields only to be replaced by their children the next day. Millions upon millions of casualties everywhere, only to deny the Republic for just a bit longer in that senseless war. It all seemed in vain until they discovered something. Advanced prosthetics. Throughout the galaxy, the ability to replace arms and legs with mechanical counterparts was very common, but it was used as a temporary solution until the person could get a biological replacement. Humans did the opposite. Millions upon millions of human soldiers had their bodies modified and reforged with metallic shells meant for war. Some of the soldiers even volunteered. The Republic could not win anymore. Their soldiers were scarred for life by all the atrocities that they had committed in the name of freeing humanity. Seeing humans replacing their bodies with metal just to kick them out was the last straw for whatever was left of the Republic's morale. The Republic expected that the humans would just stay on the newly destroyed planet and rebuild for a few centuries. Maybe they would even join the Republic one day in a more peaceful manner. 3 decades after the strategic retreat, a human ship appeared in Republic territory. Then another, and another, then 50 more. In only 3 decades, humanity had not only rebuilt the planet, but also prepared for revenge. They did not need food or water. They did not need to rest or stop. Humanity had reforged itself into a war machine with the sole purpose of destroying those who wronged them. In 3 years, the Republic had been shattered by human fleets. Even their best pilots couldn't defeat the humans. How are they supposed to outmaneuver someone's ship when they are their ship? Humanity eventually retreated into their territory. They gently asked to be left alone, and all major nations were wise enough to agree. So why should you be the humans? It is not because they are technologically advanced, or because their fleets could shatter half the galaxy. It is because when humanity is put under fire, they don't burn like we would. They just reforge themselves. End of story. Story number 2. Written by 6E6F 6E2D6269 6E617279. Jumping in 10, 9, 8, said the engineering officer. Warlord, I am registering hundreds, no, thousands of... The panicked voice of the tactical officer was cut off as the last chance shuddered on the intense barrage. For a few seconds, there was utter chaos. Then there was a brief moment of silence before the siren started to wail. "Report!" yelled the warlord, dragging himself up off the floor. "Jump drives are out, thrusters are, life support is critical, shields down, weapons at 5%. "We're being hailed," said the communications officer. "It's a Terran frequency." "Cowards! They must have laid a trap," said the warlord, staring. "I want us fully functional as soon as possible. Prioritize weapons and turn off that damn siren. The warlord straightened his uniform and stood facing the forward view screen. He accepted the hail. I am Specialist Garcia of the Terran Federation. I know who you are, warlord. You are no soldier, said the warlord derisively. And yet your ship is crippled, said the specialist. The rest of the Great Fleet jumps as you talk and talk. Soon your worlds will burn. Ah, yes, the Lost Fleet. It'll keep the storytellers busy for years. The warlord made to cancel the transmission and then stopped. Lost Fleet? What do you mean? Even now they're advancing your research station. They'll arrive in formation and... the research station is, in fact, a star, interrupted the specialist. It was redesignated shortly before the industrial accidents on the largest of your orbital shipyards. She shook her head sadly. The fleet will arrive in formation, yes, inside a star. No one will ever hear from them again. You planned this, said the warlord, shocked at his total loss of 11 ships and their crew. Indeed. We estimated with 99% confidence that you would interfere with our plans for the sector. 91% chance that you would eventually invade our space. The specialist took a sip of water. If it is any consolation, we also estimated non-negligible chance that you would win. Was the loss of your pathetic expeditionary force part of your plan? Spat the warlord. They could not even muster a defense. 3 of your finest ships destroyed. I can see how you'd make that mistake, said the specialist. The drive signatures are easily confused, but I'm afraid you've destroyed a colony ship and 2 mining ships. If your military is as effective as you say it is, and I see no reason to doubt your competence, then you are responsible for the deaths of 18,275 Terran civilians. I very much doubt that we'll find any survivors. If we do, it would be... She paused, taking a moment to straighten her glasses. Inconvenient. The warlord stood speechless. There will be sanctions, said the specialist. You've tried that twice already and failed, said the warlord, pacing from side to side. Yes, quite by design. Do you imagine we will fail a 3rd time? The specialist gestured at someone out of shot, and the screen suddenly changed. It showed a small child playing with a toy spaceship. Her voice could only be heard asking if they were excited about the upcoming adventure. The child nodded and laughed excitedly. We have 24,000 hours of footage to show before the vote, she said quietly. And we have this. The screen showed the debris field in space, the expanding cloud of green and gray silent accusation. It zoomed in 100 times, and there was the same toy spaceship, blackened and broken, turning lazily amidst the wreckage. You put that there, said the warlord, accusingly. Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't. Either way, we estimate with 97% confidence these sanctions will precipitate a crisis on your homeworld. The regime will fall, and about 1/3 of the population of the ensuing civil war. More importantly, almost all of your cultural artifacts will be lost. You're monsters, said the warlord. That is not how we will appear, said the specialist, on screen again. We will send aid, humanitarian aid, and help establish a new consensus amongst your people, one a little friendlier to our interests. The warlord sat down heavily and closed his eyes. We will take the colonies that border our space, of course, continued the specialist, folding her hands on the table. Reparations of sorts. What will you do with them? Said the warlord bitterly. We will flood them with our own people, extend invitations across the galaxy. Credits will pour in to promote all sorts of cultural events, although your kind will be, discouraged from celebrating their own traditions, she smiled. We estimate with a 93% confidence the population will be assimilated within 2 generations. If not, we have contingency plans. Your other colonies will be shunned. They will soon start to fail. Our bankers will lend money and foreclose when the debts cannot be repaid. Of course, we will provide generous assistance to those wishing to relocate to Terran worlds. And what of me and my crew? Said the warlord dejectedly. I believe amongst your kind it is the highest honor to die in battle. Am I correct? You would give us that, said the warlord, rising to his feet once more. There was a look of incredulity mixed with hope in his face. "Please, open a ship-wide broadcast. Have everyone on the bridge assemble." The specialist stood to. "Attention, crew of the Last Chance. Despite the atrocities that you have been a party to, I offer you honor in death. I only ask one thing. Use an escape pod," she said, leaning forward, "and send me your warlord alive." The specialist watched impassively as the expression on the warlord's face changed from horror to swiftly rage as he turned and tore out the throat of the approaching bridge officer. She took another sip of water as he leveled his rifle at 2 more officers, gunning them down easily. But he was soon overwhelmed. Some minutes later, a single pod was launched from the stricken ship. It was intercepted and, on inspection, contained the warlord's body, bloodied but still alive. The Last Chance's scanners registered 18,275 tiny pinpricks of light. Then they registered nothing at all. End of story. This is a special thank you to the one, the only, the legendary Eric Hino, who has become the only Tier 6 patron. Just a quick shout out to the T5 peeps: Bob the Dragon, Cat Crab Lobster, Data Magnet, Dark Machine, Try Again 95, Fudic Yol, Astrea the Dreamer, Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Athelia, Meridian 117, and Jordan Bucksmorm. Thank you very much. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed. There are links down below, both to support this channel and for the author of this fiction. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.